Mission 3, Deathless. So we can't let any civilian buildings get destroyed. I can only use one worker. I'm not going to use angry mobs, and I can't lose any units. So this one's a little different compared to my other videos because I've just been doing like can't build any units challenges on top of Deathless. But doing can't build any units in this mission is a little too easy because I would just use the angry mobs and I'd blitz through everything, especially if you get the AK-47's upgrade. So yeah, I felt it was too easy, so that's why I'm adding all of these other rules on top. And there's going to be the same sort of thing, not so much for USA 3, but China 3 for sure. There's going to be a few extra rules on top. So right now, we've got our worker who's building up a barracks, and we've got our radar van, and he collected a cash crate for us. So with the cash crate, we can now get one rebel as well as the capture building upgrade, and then that one worker can go back to collecting resources for me. As for the radar van, we're playing sort of like a mini game here. We're just crushing the police cars and all of the black vans. I think they might be ambulances perhaps, I'm not sure, but each one of these cars gives you $100. So I'm trying to do my best here to pass my radar van and crush as many of these vehicles as possible here. And yep, there's another one. And can we get the other one? Yep. Oh no, not quite. Okay, that was kind of BS. I mean, like, I'm literally inside the police car there. Come on, you can do it. No, you should have turned the other way. Ah dear. So that's what I was doing with my free time as I'm waiting on the cash to pick up. Because the next thing I want is going to be an arms dealer, and to get to an arms dealer you need $2,500, and to get to $2,500 the best way I know how is to get the oil derrick that was next to that cash crate that we picked up earlier. Now the aim of the game for this mission is you got to collect 40 grand. So by adding in that rule where we can't let the civilian buildings get destroyed, that's going to make things a little bit harder to get the money, because each civilian building gives you a cash crate, and I'm pretty sure it's like $1,000 per building, so it really does speed up the process of getting the arms dealer as well as the palace and maybe upgrades and vehicles, whatever you like pretty much. You got quite a few units to work with in this mission. So with our rebel, since we captured the oil derrick, I'm going to capture the hospital next. I don't really need the hospital, but I figure, well, it's just a little bit of insurance in case any of my infantry do get damaged. So we will capture the hospital. And another thing is that the hospital could be used as fodder in case the Humvees or Crusader or Paladin tanks decide to come by. Also the Chinese army too, that is off to the northeast. So we're pretty much covered in terms of like what to use as a meat shield. We just need attacking units to help defend us. So with that rebel, I'm putting it inside a building with the red car and the blue car parked, and that building specifically, I did that one because the Humvees can go that way and take shots on my worker. So if I put the rebel inside the building, the Humvees will go for the garrison building instead of the worker. Awesome. So the first vehicle I've gone with is a toxin tractor. So toxin tractor, I want to use him to clear out those garrison buildings that are on the Chinese side. And I just want to try and get a rank up here because we're kind of close to getting that, I think it's a rank 3. And with rank 3, we do have cash bounty. Now, as you can see, there was a destroyed building on the way with the toxin tractor, so that was already there when we started. I did test it out with like a radar van just rushing to that section. So in case anyone was thinking, oh, you broke the rules, no. It was like that when I got here. So this is sort of like the money making spot that I've come up with for the toxin tractor. I figure if I just keep him around the supply trucks and then pick off the supply trucks, we can get not only the rank up we need, but also cash bounty will come into play. And the Chinook did do a combat drop, so we're able to clear out that building, so that's also going to be a big help to me too. Now from the barracks, I've decided to get some rocket troops in the game here, and I want to use the rocket troops to garrison the building closest to where that bridge is, and that way I can fend off the USA vehicles that come by. But I didn't have enough time to get my guys inside the building, so I've had to garrison a different building to pick off the Humvees and not take any damage. Yep, so with the Humvees out of the way, I can now garrison the building I wanted to get into. And I'm going to use the Toxin Tractor to get whatever scraps I can get, as well as get the bounty off the Humvees. We really just want to try and get as much cash as possible, so then we can get some quad cannons and maybe some scud launchers as well. You don't have to go scud launchers, because the quad cannons could outrange the bunkers that are to the northeast from the Chinese side, but the scud launchers is kind of a safe answer. That way you don't have to actually deal with the vehicles or defenses directly. You could just long range it and eventually you'll get there. Yep, here comes the next combat drop, and it's very close to, you know, where I'm set up. So with that, I want to get my Toxin Tractor to clear that one out. So we'll collect whatever scraps from the supply trucks. So extra 38 bucks is going to go a long way. And I've got 3 quad cannons on the go from the arms dealer, so that's going to be my main attack force. And the thing is, like, the Toxin Tractor, I do need to have some sort of backup for him. If he gets attacked by the Chinese or the US, then he's pretty much toast. Like, if it's like Crusader tanks or Battle Masters, yeah, you want to be able to make sure he's well defended against that. As for the garrison buildings, well, it's easy work for him.
Let's go for a stroll. Intoxicating. Don't get on my bad side. I do not have patience for this. Don't push me.
So I have 3 quad cannons that are going to join up with my Toxin Tractor. Now, with the quad cannons, my game plan is to take out the bunker closest to where the resource pile is, then move in on the next bunker as well as the supply center, basically taking the Chinese out from the left and then pushing to the right or to the north, whichever is the path of least resistance. Now, as for the quads, I can also take out the supply trucks to get more veterancy, and I can also get the scraps too. So from what I understand, you don't want to scrap up quad cannons because you're going to have less damage overall. I think you'll have better fire rate, but it's less damage with that extra fire rate. I think that's how it goes. I don't exactly know the numbers when it comes to scrap quads, but yeah, even so, I don't mind scrapping them up anyway because the mission isn't too bad. The only thing that's really going to get my quads killed is my own Toxin Tractor getting in the way. So we're going to eventually push in on the quads and probably leave the Toxin Tractor behind as well. Now, as we were doing all of that, we've got a palace on the go back at our main base. And with our palace, we can also build scud launchers. So I went with the safe approach of getting scud launchers to long range the Chinese buildings. And probably the biggest threat to me right now would be the Dragon tank. See, there's a Dragon tank that's in between 2 bunkers, and I know that it could do a bit of damage to the quad cannons if they get too close to where they are. So I think it would be better to get the scud launchers instead to handle them. Another alternative would be just getting more quad cannons to fire on the Dragon tank all at once. The thing with that though is because we're trying to keep all the civilian buildings intact, it does mean that I might only have maybe like 1 or 2 being able to fire on the Dragon tank because of the narrow space. So there's that Dragon tank there that I mentioned. And so because we've been getting those scraps and taking out the bunkers and the trucks, we've got a Vet 3 and a Vet 2 quad already, so I don't mind having scrap quads if they're vetted up. I know they'll still be able to do quite a bit of damage either way.
He will come. Load the Scud. Potency guaranteed.
So I noticed the combat drop was coming, and it's going next to where my garrison building is. And that's kind of bad for me because my garrison building is taking out their garrison building, and the rules state that I can't let any civilian building get destroyed. So I was like, okay, I gotta get my toxin tractor in the game real quick, and I'm doing everything I can to stop the rocket troopers from firing, doing any more damage to the civilian buildings as well. So thankfully we were able to get through that. We did damage the building, but we didn't destroy it, so we're still within the rules. Now, as for the quads, I'm getting them to move in on the supply center as well, and still maintaining our distance. I was waiting on the toxin tractor to clear out that garrison building again, and I've got 2 Scud launchers to play with. So right now, going for the bunkers. I know that I can outrange the bunkers with the quad cannons, but I figure we'll just play it safe. We'll take it nice and easy. So with our worker, I'm going to go repair that garrison building because I don't know how many US attacks are still going to come. So I want to be able to make sure that building lasts until the end of the mission. And the attacks from the US, it's mainly like a few Humvees or a few Crusader tanks, so it's nothing too major. I've got 6 rocket troops inside the building, and like I didn't have any reason why I picked 6. I was like, yeah, 6 will do. I could have gone with like maybe 3 or 4, but yeah, I felt like 6 today. So yeah, if you're wondering what the strategic reasoning was, that's it. Now with the quads, I can safely move in on the rest of the base. They don't really have anything else to take me on, and I was like, oh, that bunker's a little bit too close for my Scuds, so let's take that out with the Scud launcher, and the quads can now do the rest and take out the base. So taking out the Chinese base actually gets me the cash because I don't know why, but they just have a lot of cash piles. And so this is a very good alternative to actually destroying the civilian buildings and getting the cash that way. Beautiful. So that's the reason why I set my Scud launchers to use Anthrax instead of just using explosive damage. Is just because I knew that there was going to be a lot of red guards, and if we use the toxins, we can we can deal with them more easily. So we've taken out the command center, and I'm going to go for the prop center next as well to get more cash. And we're at 10 grand, so watch the money go up. 12, 27, 30, 35, 37, and is that it? 40. So just like that, we've gone from 10 grand to 40 grand in an instant. And with that, that is how I did GLA Mission 3 Deathless, no angry mobs, 1 worker, and we didn't let any civilian buildings get destroyed. So USA Mission 3 Deathless, and I can't build any units. So the idea here is we've got to stop the GLA forces from destroying our forces trying to escape. Now for this, we have 4 Comanches that we can work with. Now Comanches are very good here because most of the GLA forces are not going to deal with anti-air. They do have some quad cannons though that they'll mix in with the later waves, so we've got to make sure that we've got enough countermeasures for when they come along. Now, as for our Rangers, the Rangers are going to be the weakest units here, so we're just going to try and put them in a corner. We don't want to use them, and we don't want them to be destroyed, otherwise, well, it's not Deathless anymore. Now, with our Chinook, we're going to send him back to collect resources, and we've got 3 Rangers. I only really need 2 to capture the oil derricks. The third one wanted to tag along anyway. As for the Dozers, because we can't build units, the only other way to get firepower on our side is through Patriots. And those Patriots can reach when they're on top of the cliff like that. So we're able to pick off the GLA vehicles or weaken them. Either way, it's going to be very good help for when those later waves come and when we're more established. Now, as for the money side of things, I could have built a supply center near where the oil derricks are, but because we're only using 2 dozers to spend the money, the spendage isn't actually going to be that bad, so I don't actually need the supply center in this one, because the 1 Chinook as well as the 2 oil derricks will generate more cash than what I'm spending. So next wave of GLA is coming, and I went for repairability and A10 strike, because that's all I can use in this situation. As for the Comanches, I'm going to go with rocket pods. Now, because the vehicles are so clustered together, it's going to do quite a bit of damage here. Now, as for the GLA forces, some of them are going to break away and go for my base. Now, since this is Deathless, I thought, well, I want to take care of my units and make sure that I don't take a death here. Now, honestly, my Crusaders and Patriot could have handled it, but yeah, I was a little bit too scared. But in any case, the Patriots that I got set up at the cliff, they're going to pick off a lot of those GLA units anyway, so whichever way you slice it, there would have been a lot of US forces escaping. But I could have saved more if I just got the Comanches involved.
Armor detail reporting. Clearing terrain. Crusader tank responding.
So here comes the next wave, and I wasn't as prepared for this one, so Comanches are gonna rocket pod again, and the Patriots are also in the mix here, so we're doing solid damage, making quick work of those Scorpions and Technicals here. Just trying to get rid of the ones that were the fastest, and there goes another wave. So now we just got to keep building those Patriots and power plants and just make sure the defense stays strong.
Excellent work, General. Another 50 to go.
See, besides, you know, losing our own units that are in the game, the other worry would be losing a Patriot, because once you lose a Patriot, 3 Rangers will spawn, and if there's like splash damage from a Scorpion tank, or if there's a quad cannon in the mix, then you're going to potentially lose those Rangers that spawn from the destroyed Patriot. So there are other concerns too when it comes to building all of this defense.
Yes, sir. How about those rocket pods?
Yep, so here comes the next one. No quad cannons yet, so we can safely pick off these guys with rocket pods.
Cover's on the way. Flying low.
And just like before, there's another pack breaking away to go take me out. And by this point, I mean, the GLA forces were destroyed, chasing the US forces, so I can safely use my Comanches to do the job. And here comes a boatload of Scorpions and Technicals. I was like, yeah, we need the A10 strike here. And the thing is, like, it's kind of tricky to time the A10 strike in this mission. So we sort of, like, we almost got there. If it was a little bit more to the left, we would have hit some Scorpions. And we almost lost our dozer to the Scorpion tanks, so that's another concern because we're so close to the front lines. We've got to be able to take care of the dozers too. So we got the repairability off just in time and kept the dozers alive. So the next wave of GLA is coming, and I'm keeping my Comanches away from the front line here because there's going to be quad cannons in the mix here. So I have to rely on the Patriots to deal with this wave of GLA forces. Meanwhile, I got 2 dozers building more Patriots pushing left, that way the entrance to my base is more protected. I've also got 5 Crusaders behind that line in case the vehicles or the infantry get through the Patriot defense. Now, because the quad cannons are far away enough, I'm going to use my Comanches to pick off the Rebels and the Scorpion tanks, because I know that they could get past my Patriot defense. Sweet, so now that's done. There's a few GLA forces left, so we got a quad cannon and 2 Scorpions. Now, because it's only 1 quad cannon, I feel a lot more comfortable about attacking it directly with my Comanches. Excellent, and then we go straight for the Scorpion tanks. So once the GLA gets far enough ahead, they'll stop focusing on the US forces that are escaping, and then they'll shift their target to me. Now here comes the next wave, and it's a boatload of Scorpions. So my Comanche's got back just in time, and now we just got a rocket pod and pray that we've got enough Patriots, Crusaders, and all of this firepower to withstand this attack. So thankfully the Scorpions went. We lost a Patriot. Somehow the 3 Rangers that spawned survived. You know, you would think that at least one of them would have been run over by the Scorpion tanks, but nah, we lucked out. So we're at the home stretch now. The GLA forces does have quad cannons in the mix here, so I can't use my Comanches to interfere. So that means I gotta hope that my Patriots can do enough damage and that the US forces can finish the job pretty much. And as for my Comanches, there's going to be a second batch of GLA units. This time around it doesn't have any quad cannons in the mix, so I can send these guys to take out the rebels as well as the Scorpion tanks. Also I do have Patriots within range as well, so they can also chip in. Meanwhile, I've got my Dozer building more Patriots to fortify that defense, because I do know that there's going to be one more big wave of GLA, and it's going to be coming for me as well, so I got to make sure I'm as ready as possible. Now with the Dozer, we retreat, and we retreat with the other one too. See, we don't even want to repair the Patriots, because I know that even if I repair the Patriots, or maybe the rocket pods will get in the way and destroy the Dozer, so let's just hope and pray. And this time the A-10 did do something, although it could have done more. Okay, here we go, last wave. So this one does have 3 quad cannons in the mix, but I did have a plan. So my plan for this one was to simply wait on the quad cannons to start firing on my stuff, and then once they start firing on my stuff, I rocket pop. That was literally the only move I had, and as a result I did lose 2 Patriots, but the vehicles that were on that side were destroyed, so there was less risk of those guys getting run over by the remaining Scorpion tanks. So we lucked out one more time, and we just take out those 2 rocket buggies, and that is how we beat USA Mission 3 Deathless, and without building any units. Now the unit count will say 1, that's because of the Chinook that we started with. If you start with a supply center, you get 1 unit right off the bat. China Mission 3, so same rules as USA 3, except I cannot use Black Lotus, and I cannot build a command center or a supply center. So we're just going to garrison these buildings right now. Now as for Black Lotus, we're going to move her into the top left corner, so this doesn't count as me using her. I'm moving her to the top left corner, so then I can just pretend that she doesn't exist. Anyways, we're going to get the Dragon tanks to get into position, because I'm going to use them to destroy the dam later on with the help of a Scorpion tank. Now the troop crawler is going to go where this Dozer is. Once it gets close enough, I'll get control over it, and I'm going to go for a barracks. So it doesn't matter where I place the buildings, we're not building units in this one, we just want to get the capture upgrade as well as the ability to build bunkers with the Dozer. Now we put the tank hunters inside the tower because they're a lot better inside the tower when it comes to destroying the Scorpion tanks. And now with the troop crawler, it's going to come with 8 red guards. We're going to use 2 of them to capture the oil refinery and the oil derrick. Don't really need the oil refinery, it's mainly the oil derrick, but I was like, yeah, we'll capture it just cause. And we got 4 reactors as well. See, I want to have enough reactors because I'm going to build a lot of Gatling cannons, and so that way I don't need to worry about selling off the Gatling cannons to maintain power or build more reactors. I'm covered basically for the long run.
With the dam broken, the water level is dropping. If the water drops enough, they'll be able to cross.
We need to build up more forces before the GLA cross the river.
Let's build.
So now that the dam is broken, we're going to get all of our units to go to where those 2 battle masters are. We're also going to capture the oil derrick and the oil refinery. So we ended up getting the capture upgrade before destroying the dam, because when the cutscene plays of destroying the dam, the capture building upgrade is still going. So that way, by the time the cutscene ends, the capture upgrade is ready to go, and then you can capture the buildings. It doesn't really matter if you do it like that or if you just insta destroy the dam. You're going to have enough time either way to set up the defense that I'm going to show you later on. Now that we've captured the buildings, we're sending the troop crawler to join up with the other vehicles. We're also destroying the last of the GLA forces that are on this side of the map. So once that's done, we can now evac the infantry inside the tower, and they can also join up with the vehicles. But we're not going to build any Gatling cannons or bunkers right now. I want to wait on the water level to get lower, so then I can garrison the building that's nearby across the river. See, if you go and garrison that building straight away, you've still got enough time to build more bunkers or build Gatling cannons. Depends on which way you want to go. See, if you build bunkers, it does mean that you could get more veterancy for the Red Guards, but there's more consistency with the Gatling cannons, just because they're very good at shredding through rebels. So 2 Gats, that's all you really need, plus the infantry in the garrison building. And we've got our dragon tanks behind as well, because we need to move fast here. So once we take out the Scorpions and then the rebels, we need to get our dozers plus the infantry and the dragon tanks across this bridge to then set up the next level of defense. With the dozers, we set up 2 bunkers because we've got 10 units inside that garrison building, so we need to be able to fill up 2 bunkers completely. As for the dragon tanks, we're going to move these guys in and try and take out these 2 garrison buildings by the GLA. Also going to build up a couple of Gatling cannons as well, just for that extra bit of defense as well, because we're eventually going to get these guys to move on from the bunker and then start garrisoning the buildings that are in this town here. Very good. Now, I've done a lot of attempts on this mission. This was actually one of the more annoying missions for me to deal with, just because every time I thought I had it figured out, the GLA would do something new. And there are times where you can actually just get the infantry to garrison one of these buildings. You don't even have to worry about the bunkers, but there's also a chance that the Scorpion tanks could come early and then start running over your infantry. So this is like the safest option here. And we're just going to take out the Scorpions that come by, and then once I think the coast is clear, then we'll move in and start garrisoning the buildings. See, this was another occasion where I was like, yeah, nah, I think I'll garrison my bunkers and deal with this wave. So you gotta kind of have a feel for like how the attack patterns work, or like the timing of when they come to your side of the bridge. So now I think we're okay. That one tank did scare me a little bit, but he did retreat, so now I can move in and start garrisoning the first building. So I'm trying to get as much distance as possible, and then once I do get some action, then we'll start garrisoning, and then we'll take out the Scorpions that are nearby. Now, as for the dozers, we're going to build more Gatling cannons. So we're going to build one that's near one of the ones we've already got, and then another one which is going to be like backup for the building that we're garrisoning right now. See, having all of this defense is also good because there's going to be more Scorpions that will approach from the left side. So if you have enough Gatling cannons, then you'll be covered for whichever side they come from, and then that way you won't have to worry about your garrison building getting attacked.
Orders complete. We have big plans. Ah, yes. Of course. It looks complete in prosperity.
So I saw the Scorpion tank turn, I was like, okay, let's evac, we're going to move here, trying to get as much distance as possible. See, the thing is, we need to get closer and closer to the GLA base, and the only way to do this is by just hopping from one building to another. And with that, I can just get my dozers to set up more Gatling cannons to act as backup for my garrison building. I can also keep another one nearby that could repair the building as well. I'm just trying to make sure, like with the Gatling cannons, that I've got like decent angles. That way I can use them to attack the scorpions that approach as well. And this time we got a bunch of rebels, but because we got 8 red guards though, they're going to go pretty quickly. And then that scorpion got a little bit too close to my dozer for my liking, and I was like, okay, yeah, you gotta go. Now I try and rebuild that Gatling cannon that I was going to build to the left of my garrison building. And my Gatling cannon can also pick off the workers, so the workers can be a bother to my garrison building, like the tank hunters especially, because like if I was building, say, a Gatling cannon and the worker got close to the dozer and then the rocket fire hits the worker, it could also hit the dozer too, so there's other things like that to look out for especially. But if you got the Gatling cannons nearby, then the infantry won't be a problem. Anyway, so another moment where I thought this was good to evac and then move on to the next spot. Kind of a close call here. I was trying to push it for another building. Perhaps I should have been a bit more patient. See, this was like the first attempt back because I spent like a few hours on this because I was like, I was actually raging on this one, believe it or not. But yeah, it's one of those occasions where it's like if you take a break, it seems like you play better when you come back.
Looks promising. Let's build. I built for China. Looks promising. Of course. China will grow larger. We have big plans.
Awesome, so I'm just setting up more Gatling cannons. Since we've got a new building to work with, we've got to set up the necessary defense. That way we're covered not only against infantry, but also scorpion tanks that attack us on certain angles too. See, I wanted to push more to the left, but that scorpion tank off the left didn't want me to do that. So this is what I was telling you about with the tank hunters in the building. So if the worker was close to my dozer, then that wouldn't have been good for me. The attacks are getting stronger because we're getting closer to the GLA base. Eventually we're going to have to deal with a full army of GLA forces, so we've got to look out for that. Right now though, we've got one scorpion tank that's approached from the left, so I get my dozer to hide behind my Gatling cannons. Thankfully he's attacking the Gatling cannons that I built previously, and that's another reason why I built so much power at the beginning. That way I don't need to actually sell off the Gatling cannons to maintain the power. We can just keep those Gatling cannons around for as long as we need. Now, we've got one more Scorpion approaching from the left. This time, I'm taking out the civilian building that's right next to the one that we're garrisoning. That way, I can attack the Scorpions that approach on the left more easily and back up the Gatling cannon that's firing as well.
We have big plans. I like the big target.
So I thought now was the time to garrison the next building and get a little bit closer. See, once the attack waves die down, that's like your best bet. And now I need to build more Gatling cannons to reinforce my defense. And it was a little bit hairy because I got one Scorpion that got pretty close to where we were. And so I was like, okay, let's get my other dozer to repair the building. That way I got one building a gat, the other repairing, and then we'll be set defense-wise. I build one more gat to make sure that I'm angled and I don't get attacked from behind or anything like that.
Building is complete. Prosperity.
See, right now I could do repair work on the garrison building, but right now we seem to be doing alright. I mean, like, we could handle a little bit more of a beating before we need to actually repair it.
Building is complete. Let's build. Here, let me help. We have big building is complete. Let's take a look.
Yep, so just taking out this building here so then we can reach that Scorpion tank there. And got interrupted by another Scorp, but We're able to pick off one more Scorpion tank. We're just trying to minimize the threat level, because remember, there's going to be a full-blown army of Scorpion tanks and rebels, and they're going to come after us depending on how close we get to the GLA base. So I gotta make sure that I set up enough defense so then we can withstand a whole boatload of Scorpion tanks and rebels. Now I got 2 of my red guards to garrison a different building, because the next building I want to garrison doesn't hold 10 people, it only holds 8 people. So I chose the 2 weakest red guards and I put them in the other building. That way I've got as much firepower as possible for when we go into the GLA base. Now I thought this was the time to evac and move on to the next building. I accidentally selected the dozer, which slowed me down a little bit, and the Scorpion tank is coming and almost ran over my infantry. He decided to stop short. If he didn't stop short, he would have got me, and that would have been game. And that would have added to my frustrations. Seriously, I did spend quite a long time on this mission with these rules. It's like I knew it was possible. Like, I had the pieces of the puzzle, but I just couldn't put it all together. And nothing is more frustrating than losing a mission that you know you can beat. Now that the rebels are out of the way, we use their tank hunters to clear out these obstacles, and then try and attack the command center next. The thing is, we're just out of range, but if you force fire on the corner of the command center, that's still enough to damage it. So now we're just going to shift targets between the command center and the rebels and Scorpion tanks that are attacking, so we just got to keep an eye out. Meanwhile, our dozer is going to build another Gatling cannon, and we just want to make sure that we have enough Gatling cannons near this garrison building. That way, when the GLA does its big move, we've got enough defense to have us covered. I wasn't sure what to do with the Battle Masters and the Dragon tanks, but I thought, well, if I want to do anything with them, let's at least bring them a bit closer to where the fight is. That way it won't take them very long to arrive at the GLA base for whatever purpose I come up with. Meanwhile, we got the supply stash under attack, and we're just trying to figure out a way to actually destroy it faster. So I'm playing around with force firing again, just like I did with the command center, and there we go, we've just found the sweet spot, and now we're able to get rid of the supply stash. I'm just trying to find the thing that triggers the GLA into doing its big move, because at the time I thought, yeah, 2 Gatling cannons plus this garrison building with the dozer behind it should be enough. And as for the Dragon tank, I thought, well, let's move one guy in and let's see if that is enough to trigger it. And it was. So now here comes the big move.
China is under attack!
See, I didn't garrison the tent that's nearby, because like, if you garrison the tent that's nearby, you can destroy the arms dealer, but that means that you could end up triggering the GLA into attacking as well. And that's actually something that ruined one of my previous attempts. So what happened was I had one attempt where I garrisoned the tent and I was able to destroy the arms dealer without triggering the GLA, but that attempt was a failure, of course. And then there was another attempt where I had that information and I was thinking, okay, well, it won't trigger the GLA, so let's go in. But it triggered the GLA. And because the tent was the only thing there, I had no Gatling cannons or anything else to help defend it. It went down to all of those Scorpion tanks and rebels, and I lost all the infantry. So yeah, that's what happened. So now that the GLA attack is over, I use my infantry to garrison the tent, so then I can go after the arms dealer. And without the arms dealer, it means they won't be able to build any more Scorpion tanks. The thing with that though is they've got who knows how many Scorpion tanks left to the left of the Stinger site. I haven't got that part of the map revealed, so I don't know what's coming, and depending on what I attack, it means that I could be triggering another big wave of scorpions and rebels. I don't really know that until I actually move in with other units. So we do have the scorpion going for my front line, but I do have 2 Gatling cannons, which will be enough for 1 scorpion tank. So we have gotten rid of the arms dealer now, and now I felt a bit more confident about bringing in the dragon tanks. Now with the dragon tanks, there are some garrison buildings nearby, and that can help these guys get some veterancy.
Ignition! Hose them down! Release the flames! Adjusting gas valves! Let us get closer! Hose them down! Ignition! Maintain a smooth ride! Adjusting gas valves!
So with my dozer, I attempt to build a bunker, and it ended up getting destroyed by the stinger site. Thing is, I'm just trying to figure out what's the best approach to deal with the stinger site without losing any units. Now I do have the dragon tanks, but I know dragon tanks could go down to a stinger site as well. So right now I'm using my other one to take out these rebels that come out of the barracks, hoping for some veterancy. So we did get him to vet 1. And I was also thinking, well, the GLA hasn't triggered just yet, so perhaps if I destroy this barracks, maybe that's the trigger that will bring out the rest of the scorpions and the rebels. We don't exactly want that because we haven't set up enough defense to counteract it.
Move order confirmed. Yes, General.
So I brought in the Battle Masters for extra defense, and I decided to build a Gatling cannon with the dozer. So by this point I suspected that the barracks was going to be the trigger for the GLA attack. That's why I hadn't destroyed it with the dragon tank just yet. So with that in mind, I thought, well, let's build a bunch of Gatling cannons with the dozer. That way when the attack does come, we're going to be ready for it. Now I do sell off a few Gatling cannons. We could just build a reactor, but selling's a little bit faster. So getting the other dozer involved as well to build a 3rd Gatling cannon, and then building a 4th Gatling cannon. And I decided that 4 Gatling cannons was going to be enough. I did sell off a couple more just in case, but I don't think they'd get to my reactors anyway. And I used my dragon tank to attack the barracks finally, and it got him to vet 2. That did trigger the attack that I mentioned. So we got 3 scorpion tanks and a bunch of rebels. Now, one thing that I think I could have done is perhaps I could have kept the barracks as a GLA whole. That way it rebuilds, and then I could use the dragon tanks to destroy it again to get it to vet 3. I think that's what I should have done in this moment. As for the stinger site, well, I think if you fire all like at a certain distance, you could hit the stinger site, but I decided to go for the direct approach, which nearly got me killed. My dragon tank surviving with a fraction of health, but it was enough to do the job, and that is how I beat China Mission 3 without building any units, Deathless, without using Lotus, and without building a command center or supply center. So if you enjoyed this one, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I do have a playlist if you want to check out any of my other content. I'm Crocolo. I'll see you next time. Bye.